College life is stressful, and many students turn to diet trends and myths to stay healthy. In today's video, Dr. Kipchen from University Health Services helps debunk common diet myths from the low-carb craze to detox diets, giving you tools to make informed choices. So talk to us a little bit about some of the most common misconceptions about dieting that you encounter here in the practice, especially among young adults like college students.
Okay. Ryan, what I see frequently are students that think they can lose 10 pounds in a week or 30 pounds in a month with one of the quick fix type diets, and it's just not possible. That being said, you may lose 10 pounds in a week, but it's all going to be water. And if you lose weight that quickly, it's not healthy, and typically you're losing muscle. And while you're doing this, your metabolism, how fast you burn calories, actually shuts down, because most of the time you're doing a really low calorie diet. When you do that, your body thinks you're starving, so the metabolism will lower, and you're actually very stubbornly hanging on to the fat while you're losing muscle.
And it probably doesn't make them feel super great either.
No, you're right. You feel horrible. You're lethargic, you may not sleep well, you're always hungry. So the whole situation sets you up for failure.
Yeah, and then you think about they're already navigating the stress of college and other expectations, and when you don't feel well, you can't do the other things in life. And so yeah,
your brain needs certain nutrients to be able to function, to focus, to study, to incorporate the new knowledge. And you can't do some of these fad diets like all liquid, all juice, very, very low carb, or the very, very low fat diets. Our bodies just aren't made that way to adjust to it. If there's a diet that says it's a quick fix, it's not. You need to stay away from those.
So we know that genetics can play a role in dieting and just our overall health and wellness. So how can students set realistic goals based on their individual body types and needs?
That's a good question. Being realistic is the first important word. Be realistic. A realistic goal actually is about a pound per week. You may lose a little more when you first start. Like I mentioned earlier, you can lose water weight, and then it may slow down some. But you do have to be realistic. There is nothing that's going to be sustainable that is going to make you drop weight quickly. It just doesn't work that way. So genetics do play a role. We're starting to learn there are some genes that do affect how your body reacts to certain diets and certain nutrients like proteins, fats, and carbs. Some people will burn carbs very fast and some people won't. They also have found that there are genes that affect how you respond to exercise. It would be nice if we knew all that now and we had a test we could do and say, this is the diet you need and this is the exercise you need to do. And I think it'll come to that at some point. We're just not quite there. There are certain body types, as we all know, and they've been labeled ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. The ectomorphs are what you think of when you see long-distance runners. You know, they're very thin and you see them running all over campus. They tend to burn calories faster than most. Their metabolic rate is higher, but they also have a hard time putting on muscle. The endomorph is the person that's usually curvier. They burn calories more slowly, and they're going to respond to certain diets a little bit differently. Typically, it's not always true for everybody, but they tend to be a little more sensitive to carbohydrates or the starchy foods. The carbohydrates would put more weight on them than it would, say, the ectomorph. And then you have the mesomorph. That's a person, as we would say, is genetically gifted. They've been blessed that they don't have to follow a particular diet. You know, you always hear the person, oh, I really have to watch carbs or I have to watch this. They really don't have to. And they respond well to exercise. They can burn fat, they can put on muscle, no problem. So there are certain diets that tend to help people in the different body type categories, but it's not always true. You can't say, you're an ectomorph, this is what you have to do. The genetics play a role, but lifestyle, environment play more of a role than genetics do. So you're not condemned based on your body type.
Yeah. And we talk to students a lot about just like learning your body and giving it what it needs. And so I think a lot of students go through that as they transition to being independent, being here on campus, utilizing the resources we have and learning how to take care of themselves in that manner.
You're right. You can't force your body into a certain diet. This doesn't work for everybody. And give yourself some grace. Yeah. You know, you're not going to be perfect all the time. You're not going to lose the exact amount of weight that you want to. And you may not get to exercise every day. give yourself a little bit of grace.
So can you give us some tips on how students can take care of their health and wellness while navigating all the things that come along with the college life?
I will try. I think the most helpful would be you have to eat healthy to be able to function and not get sick. Kids often get sick the first semester because they're not taking care of themselves. So meal planning, meal prep, healthy snacks. You're running around campus, don't have time for lunch. Don't do the drop in and get chips. And exercise is so important. It's important for your mental health as well as your physical health. Most students get the exercise just by walking around campus. If you can shoot for 20 to 30 minutes a day of some form of exercise, that's helpful. And water. Water is key.
We hope this video debunks some common diet myths and helps you make more informed decisions about your health. Remember, there's no one size fits all, and making balanced choices is the key. Stay healthy and go
Pokes!